Hello and welcome to Three Questions With. Got my buddy Allan Wolf with us from WolfReel Visuals. Allan, good afternoon. Welcome to the show, brother.
Good afternoon, Kevin. Pleasure as always.
So I asked you to come on today because I want to talk about brand photography. And I got to admit, Allan, I'm guilty of just pulling out I don't even have a fancy iPhone, I have a Samsung, and just taking pictures of stuff. And maybe depending on the use, it may be okay. But in most cases, it's not because it just doesn't flatter the product I'm using. You must see that all the time as a photographer.
I do. And how I equate it to my clients is a good headshot for your brand is like a good first handshake. We've all experienced a bad handshake where you're completely turned off. And a headshot can be that same way. I have people that want to connect with me all the time on social media, or they send me an email. And personally, my preference, I'm more apt, I feel, to respond and more like energetic and outgoing if they have a professional aura to them because of how they perceive their brand.
But it's almost so much more than that. It's your personality in the picture. Like I have people use you as an example. You're a fun guy to talk to, but I expect your photo to look like a fun guy. And I have people who they're really fun and they have that stern like look. I'm like, that's not you, dude. Your image is coming across as someone who's just not a pleasant person. And I'm like, you're one of the funniest guys I know. So it's getting the personality in the photo too, right?
That is so true. I'll give you an example of like how to capture the personality. Last year I had an opportunity to work with a remodeler. His name's Kirk Clayson of Clayson Remodeling, and hates having his photo taken. And he would joke with me. He was like, Allan, gonna be honest, it comes down to if my wife approves. And I was like, challenge accepted. And he was a little nervous. So instead of me just like posing him, putting him in front of the camera, what I did to kind of capture his energy, because once he relaxed, once he like got out of his shell, he's a fun guy and it was a blast to work with him. So I set up the lights, I set up the camera, and we spent a good hour just talking. And he was telling me stories about his career, his time in the service, his time part of the Builders Association, and just all those genuine interactions I was able to capture, because as we just spoke, I would just press the shutter. And it was very natural. There was nothing really forced about the interaction. And it just made for a very poignant set of images that showed his character. It showed him in his element because he loves what he does. His remodeling company, that's his pride and joy. And being like centered and posed in his workshop, it really just pulled it all together.
That's cool. Now let's talk a little bit about product, because I know I've been looking for a product online and I look at the pictures and I'm like, just not sure. I don't know if it's what I want, if it's the right size. And I'm like, the heck with it. And I can go on and either just give up and don't buy it or just go on to the next page. That's a real big deal. You have to make sure that people can see it, know if they like your product to purchase it, right? That's where brand photography is essential.
Exactly. If you're a business, we'll say a brewery. So breweries are a lot of fun. There's a whole science that goes into making their product. And we can absolutely take a photo of their can, stick it in a white backdrop and photograph it. But that's kind of boring. That doesn't really entice me. So when I capture products, I'll take that can, I'll pop open another one, I'll pour it into a glass, and I will find out from the brewer what ingredients he used in this brew. And we'll make not just a sterile photograph and a white backdrop, but we'll come up with a plan, whether it's inside the brewery or inside the place of business, to kind of make an enticing product photo showing say it's a citrusy beer, we're going to have fresh oranges. We're going to have them freshly cut. We're going to have a zest. We're going to have a little bit of a spray from the orange in the photograph itself. That way, when you're like seeing that image of that product, you're enticed, you're mouth watering, you're hooked. And then to take it one step further, we're not going to do something drab, especially if it's a citrus beer. That's something light. That's something fun. So you're going to have to incorporate a lot of color, whether that's in the environment or incorporating different lighting that includes different colors.
That's amazing. Like I said, I never realized there was so much behind. But once you said that, when you described that to me, I visualized that picture without even trying. I was like, I can see that orange. It looks good, by the way. But
Thank you.
that's how powerful it is. Though, like you said, you painted me that picture, and that's what we're trying to do through this photography. Is for me to be visualizing myself drinking that beer and what it's going to taste like. Because I don't even drink beer, but in my head, I'm like, that sounds like it'd be a good beer, actually.
Well,
That's
even take it one step further. Are you a coffee fiend?
Nope, just Mountain Dew. That's it.
Just Mountain Dew? So the same idea, that Mountain Dew, that product, they have all those limited editions.
Yep.
And in my mind, when I hear Mountain Dew, I do automatically associate it with you, but I also associate it with people that are like out and about. They need that kick of energy. They're that business person, but they're fun. So like you can easily incorporate that into a personal brand and kind of make it appeal to everyone, because Mountain Dew drinkers, they're not just young kids on skateboards drinking the soda. I mean, it's you, the professional business owner, the teacher, the photographer, everybody in between can be pictured with that beverage.
Yep. It's really that simple. So, Allan, if people have questions, they want you to photograph something for them, what's the best way to reach out to you?
Either by email, phone, or just visiting our website.
Which are?
Our phone number is 603-568-3829.
Yep.
Or send us an email, howl@wolfreel.media. That is HOWL at WOLFREEL.media, or visit our website at wolfreel.media.
Allan, I appreciate you taking a few minutes to call into the show. And as always, thanks for being my friend.
Absolutely. Thank you for being mine. Till next time, Kevin.
Let's see you, bud.